Hello, everyone. A very good evening and welcome to Chai Shai. I'm sure you're wondering who I am and what am I doing here, especially because this is Kanchan Todi's show. So let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Sushma Gaikwad. I am an entrepreneur. I'm the director of Witchcraft Mime and Ice Global. I'm a breakthrough therapist. I'm an educationist. And most important is I've been a holistic therapist for over 15 years. And what am I doing here? I'm here to have a conversation. I'm here to have a conversation, like Kanchan calls it, and completely unfiltered conversation with two personalities where we're going to really explore feminine rising. And I'm really, first of all, want to thank each and every one of you, those of you who have joined on the live link. Thank you for joining us. And, if you have any questions as we go along, please be sure to post it and we will attempt to get them answered. Now, that being said, I want to first begin by introducing my very first guest, and that is none other than Kanchan Todi. Well, Kanchan is the host of this show, like you are aware, and I've hijacked her show today. And while I get her on, I really want to introduce her properly. Well, she has been a creative soul as long as I know her. She's a painter, and she's a painter of the healing arts. She's a poet. She has been a social change enabler, and she has been the founder of Chai Shai, etc., and Couture, sustainable fashion. I must tell you, when I'm reading out this introduction, when I say sustainable fashion, her, her fashion line is truly sustainable and beautiful. She's also the trustee and founder of the Kanchan Foundation. So welcome, Kanchan. I'd love to have you on board and quickly say a quick hi to everyone. How does it
Hi,
feel to be on the
everybody.
other side of the fence, Kanchan?
Thank you so much for the introduction, Sushma. My
In
God,
fact,
it feels so lovely, so amazing to have you host Chai Shine.
and it feels amazing to hijack it as well. I must tell you, it's so exciting to
It's all
hijack a
yours.
show. When you said, "Will you host a show?" It's like, of course. I first of all love Chai Shai. Content on it is absolutely relatable, and I must say say it's an honor to have you as my friend, Kanchan. So you are, and for those who are watching, she doesn't do justice to her own introduction. So while she's on, I'm going to make her blush a little bit. And I just want to say that, Kanchan is one of the most committed human beings that I have seen. Her venture, especially the Kanchan Foundation, which is an NGO, she has been enabling projects for children and youth. She has been working on projects for women. She's organized a food bank, and she's also done COVID Seva. She is a true-blooded social enabler. So it is my pleasure, darling, to have this conversation with you, especially because your tagline is "Nurture Humanity." So,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome on your own show, Kanchan.
Thank you, my love.
So, I'm going to go on, and today's conversation is going to be really interesting because everyone, I'd like you all to also welcome Aashish Rego. Well, Ashish has been a songwriter, he's a composer, he's an entrepreneur, he's an innovator, and he's a speaker. What I love about Ashish, and when I was doing a little bit about research on him, is when I stumbled on his website, it actually said music for the soul. And I think that truly defines him as a person. Now, being in the media industry myself for about 29 years, I have known Ashish to be one of the most prolific music composers in the music industry. In fact, Ashish has been consistently breaking many records while making many records. His innovative style of composition and unorthodox techniques of music design have really contributed greatly to films, television shows, advertisements, and web series that he has scored for. In fact, it is very interesting to know that despite emerging from a strong Western classical education, he's well versed with Indian music, especially the various folk styles pan India, which is heard in various shows that he has scored for. Now, one little interesting personal tidbit I would like to add is what is interesting to know is that Ashish started, dabbling or really getting exposed. I would not say dabbling, getting exposed to music as a creative expression at a tender age of 12. And by the time he was 15, he was leading an orchestra. I mean, I think that was for me an absolute perspective of what Ashish really considers music for himself and for others. And he has contributed immensely to the entire music industry globally as well as in India. So, and I know Ashish, and now Ashish, I really remember where I have met you because he co-founded the bands Vedic Chant and Fire and Ice, and he has performed with them for many, many years. And here we are today having a conversation with him about one such new venture and one such new initiative which has really shifted the narrative of music across the world. So, welcome, Ashish. That
Thank
was
you.
long.
Hi.
I need a
Thank you
breath
so
now.
much. Hi, Sushma. Hi, Kanchan. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, Ashish, for joining us. So, Ashish, before we go any further, first of all, I want to ask you, how does it feel here to be with both of us? Before we go any further, I really need to get a little bit of a human story going here. So, how does it feel to be with both of us tonight?
Well, I couldn't be more comfortable, and it feels really great to be with such empowered women who've made it in their own fields and achieved so much in their lives. And basically, you yourselves are a beacon for other women across the world. So it feels really great to be here with you guys.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. And I must say, before we really talk about what we're here to talk about, Kanchan has you're a very well-known, renowned musician and composer and everything. Kanchan has a phenomenal voice. Okay, so at the end of our entire show, we're going to make her sing. I'm a phenomenal bathroom singer, so I can't be adding anything except clapping or adding a few drum beats. Kanchan's going to be singing at the end of this.
I'm a great listener. So
Okay, super. So, everyone, before we go any further, today we are really talking about JaagoZara. And I want to talk about, and this is a lovely introduction of JaagoZara. So, I'm going to take a moment and read it. It is that there is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. And over 100 women achievers in the field of music from across the world actually got together on this one platform to celebrate the contribution of women to music. Actually, this song that we are going to be hearing in a short while symbolizes the spirit of awakening and awareness, which is brought about through the means of music. And music is the universal language. The lyrics instill in us the need to awaken and realize our true potential. This song, JaagoZara, has actually already won over 60 awards and accolades globally in various film and music festivals. And it is one of the largest collaborations in music by women across the world, and all in one song. Jago Zara. So I'd like to, all of you who are watching the show, we're going to just play Jago Zara for you to really get awakened and get with us into the perspective of today's conversation. So could we play Jago Zara, please, Anshu? think there is no sound. Could we pause it and play it again? It's amazing when there are when technology glitches. So if we could play it again, I think there was no sound for those of you who are watching this live. We're going to give it one more attempt. Give us a moment while we play it again. I think we'll have to stop it again. Should we play it a little towards the end, Kanchan? Because, well, I think there is some. You're muted. Kanchan, you're mute.
We can do that.
Yeah, we while because I know when tech glitches, you have to keep looking at what can we do next. So when you run on the console in an event, you just move forward. So we'll continue with it, and while the backend gets sorted. So let's get Ashish back on. Ashish, while they're sorting out the technical, let's have a conversation about JaagoZara. Ashish, yes, here you are. We will hear it towards the end when the team is ready to play it. So Ashish,
Sure.
oh hi baby. We've got another guest as well. I would say visiting guest. Hi there. She. This is the he. Hi. Well,
Yes.
this is going to be an interesting conversation. So Ashish, do tell us a little bit about JaagoZara. When I say that, is what was the idea behind JaagoZara?
So a few years back, when I was in Tokyo at a conference of CM, I met this lady called Dr. Felicity Wilcox, who was the chair for women um, at CM. So she was heading the council for creating better opportunities for women in music. And she made a very rousing speech with a lot of statistics that showed that the percentage of women in music was very less across the world. So at that point in time, I was very inspired by that. And when I came back to India, I kept thinking about that. And I had made a promise then that I'm going to do something in India about getting women into the MCI, which is the Music Composers Association of India. And in 1 year, we doubled our membership. And during the lockdown, we had a lot of time. All of us had a lot of time. So we got thinking, and JaagoZara was a song which I had thought of the tune a couple of years back. And suddenly during the lockdown, something clicked. And JaagoZara got relevance with respect to the idea of women in music, and they both kind of bonded together. I had only composed 4 lines earlier. And when that concept clicked together, I presented it to my partners, Justin Uday and Somesh Mathur, and they loved the lines that had been written. And within a matter of an hour, the entire song wrote itself. So when an idea acquires the right context, it just flows naturally. And it's like it just like there's this saying, right? There's nothing like an idea whose time has come, and there's nothing can prevent an idea whose time has come. And that's what happened here. And we done this song Vande Mataram last August, where 100 composers from India were on one platform, which again was a first because the first time that happened. And we said, for this song, we need to go ahead of that. So for this song, we started off and we managed to get 101 women on this, which is actually not 101 women, because in those 101 entities, I'm also including one orchestra, which has around 40 women, uh,
Wow.
and, and three choirs. Yeah, so it's not just, it's around 150 women totally, actually, in
Wow.
entirety, who are featuring in the song. And that includes the Macedonian Symphony Orchestra, the Voices of the Valley, the Shillong Choir, and the Chennai Choir. And it was a humongous task, which together we just managed to click and work as a team. And within 1 month, from conception to the video, final video being ready, everything happened. And
In 1 month. In one
in
month.
one, yes, 30
Really?
days. 30
Wow.
days, yes.
Wow.
And we were blessed to have legends like Farida Khanum ji, Chitra ji, then Ila Arun ji, then Sharda Sinha, and Madhushri, Sharda Anger, all these, then Usha Uttup, so many famous artists whom I mean, we really grew up on their music, were there, and it was like a dream come true. We were really blessed to have them, and so many other talented women from across India and the world. So the world also came in. I mean, because India started, then we had women from 11 countries across the world. So that itself
Amazing.
was great. I mean, it was a great feeling and very fulfilling feeling to see the culmination of the video and the way the song really panned out.
And that the song, it like the song, I must say, when I heard it, it stirs something within you. The JaagoZara is not only in the lyrical aspect, it is in the musical aspect. So I want to also ask you, Ashish, why is JaagoZara? I mean, the title could be Urja. I don't know. I'm just saying. Why the title? Since this is conversation at 10 o'clock, we need to have a little bit of
Yeah,
fun, okay? So it could be any other title. Why
yeah.
the title JaagoZara?
So when I composed this tune around 4 years back, or not 4 years back, actually it was 10 years back. So 10 years back, four lines were written.
Okay.
Yeah. So those four lines started with Jago Zara, Hone do Sargoshiya. Jago Zara, Mitne do Khamoshiya. थम सा गया अब तो अंधेरा अब आएगा रोशन सवेरा. So these
Wow.
four lines were waiting since 10 years for their rightful place.
So
Yeah.
was this in 2012 when the world was about to end?
Maybe I don't really remember. I suppose it was around that time, but I don't think it has any implication on the world not ending at
I
that
think
time.
it was just found its way onto the sheets of paper and
Yes,
waiting to manifest in the world when the time is right. Usually it happens.
absolutely.
Does that happen a
Absolutely.
lot with you, Ashish,
Yes,
as a
yes, it
creative
does.
resource? It
It
does,
does, it
huh?
does. And especially with songs that have meaning and purpose,
Correct.
it they just somehow manage to use me as a what do you call it, pen or a tool to just express themselves. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's there's no effort required in it because the ink is just flowing,
Correct.
and they emerge because their time has come. That's all. And
Yeah,
I feel
I think
blessed
so.
at that point in time to be the tool to have that thought and idea emerge through me. That's all.
It's just basically being a channel. I think creativity is
Yes, it's
about keeping that
absolutely
channel open.
open. Exactly.
Yes, yes,
It's it,
absolutely.
it's basically surrender at that point in time. When you are an absolute surrender, you are an open channel.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And I want to, at this point of time, have a little conversation with Kanchan as well. Kanchan, you've been part of the JaagoZara narrative as a supporting partner to the entire initiative. Given the background that the Kanchan Foundation was set up right in 2010, if I remember right, yeah? And you have actually, over a period of time, supported over 10,000 families. You've been a guiding light for families, for children, creating employment. So, what does Jago Zara mean to you? If you could give us a perspective.
First of all, I would like to thank Ashish for believing in the social cause that Kanchan Foundation works for. I would really like to thank him because one day he just called me out of nowhere and asked me to be a part of the project, and it's been such a privilege and such a honor in this journey, to see the way this song has come up and to be a part of it. And when you talk about 10,000 families and me supporting them, no, I was just a part of the foundation. There have been a fleet of women volunteers, mothers whose children have grown up and flown the nest. There have been retired college principals, teachers, professors, people from the airlines industry, people from various walks of life, especially women, women with young children whose children go to school and they're free for a few hours, who came forward to make Kanchan Foundation what it is today. And it is all volunteer driven. So, yes, it was a lot of work over the last 11 years by a lot of women.
Wow.
Coming to JaagoZara, you know, I have been a part of Maitri Bodh Parivar as well. So have you, Sushma. And world awakening, global awakening is a purpose for us. So the song resonates with my soul. The song resonates with the essence of life and the way over centuries, we have been living blindly with our eyes closed, believing in beliefs that do not serve humanity, believing in beliefs that do not serve our soul's purpose, that do not bring us joy and love. So to me, Zara is all about liberation. It is all about changing perspectives and opening your eyes and looking within as to what is the transformation we require to bring globally and within ourselves.
I think it's so well said. I think it's the moment now that the world actually unifies, and I think that's what this entire. I'm not going to call it a song anymore, Ashish. With your permission, I'd like to call
Absolutely.
it a movement, because it's always the first step that creates an entire stir, and ripple effects are felt across the globe. I would really call this a movement, a lyrical and musical movement, if I may. So, Ashish, if I can come back to you and ask you, getting all these wonderful, acclaimed, talented, well known women on one platform, what, what did you have to say? I really want to know, what did you say to them? All these wonderful women. I mean, you see everyone, like, right from across the world. What did you say to them? And how did you, I don't want to use the word convince because that's not the right word. How did
And,
you
and
enroll them
enlist,
into,
enlist
enlist them,
the
enroll them into the conversation, the
the
support?
cause.
Because, yeah, and you need a lot of support. So, how did you do it? I want to know what you said. What was it that you said? What
So
were the words?
most of the credit for enlisting goes to my partners because they're great at enlisting. And Somesh, Justin, and Uday, they did a great job with that. And firstly, they sent a MP3 of the song in its state at that point in time to everyone. That was the first step. The second thing was the vision of 100 women across the world on one platform.
Right.
These two things, and not only just women, but women who had achieved their positions and places in primarily what was a man's world so
Right.
far in music, which we've seen according to the statistics that Felicity herself had given us. So they really came on board. I mean, most of them. I mean, I would say around 80% of all the women we approached came on board immediately. They just said yes, we're on. and
Wow.
things just moved.
And what I like about it also, if I may say this, Ashish, it's not pitching one against the other. It's completely gender neutral. Yet at the same time, it talks about the need to rise. Right? It's the need to wake up. So
Yes.
if I would ask you just in one line, wake up to what, Ashish?
Well, if you see the last lines of the song, yeah, the finale that is there, I mean, wake up and rise above the mountains high.
Yes.
Wake up and leap over the seas. Wake up and take your place in history. Wake up to your own destiny. So that itself speaks about what is the kind of awakening that is necessary. And in the middle of the song, also, we speak about how a new way is necessary,
Correct.
especially in the times of which are post COVID.
Correct.
Yeah, the world has changed and it has changed irreversibly.
Correct.
We need now to understand the message which the virus has got us. Yeah, once what happens is when there's a common enemy, we tend to unite. Yeah, otherwise we're fighting among ourselves all the time. Yeah, this song brings together what you normally would feel are competitors and brings them together as collaborators to work so wonderfully independently of each other but weaving together the magic that is music. So
Very well said.
the lesson that is there is that there is absolutely no need on any level to compete with each other.
Correct.
If we just stop competing and start collaborating, then the world can be something totally different. The virus necessitated the collaboration, otherwise survival was impossible. Countries all across the world, they got together to combat the virus. They offered aid, they offered support, they offered solutions. Otherwise, they were fighting, bickering all this time. So between nations itself, and who better? I mean, the best managed nation in the times of COVID was New Zealand, which was headed by a woman.
Correct.
Yeah. So, in fact, some of the most amazing successes, Angela Merkel, then the Icelandic Prime Minister, the New Zealand Prime Minister, all women. So it is time for women now to take their place in history. Yeah, history has been constantly written by men. Yeah, so it's time to rewrite it a bit. Yeah, I mean, get the scales balanced out a bit more than.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's about getting the scales balanced out. It's
Yeah.
about the equality. So, do you really? I'm very eager to know, and then I'm going to ask the same question to Kanchan on a more deeper level. Do you really think it is women are not in the forefront because they're hesitant or because they're put down by societal norms? What is your
Well,
perspective?
so there's this story which I heard a long time about this baby elephant. Yeah. Now this baby elephant was in a circus and tied to a strong pole with a rope. Yeah. It try as it much, it couldn't get rid of that rope. It couldn't break the rope. Now that elephant grew bigger, and it grew bigger after a certain while. It stopped trying to break that rope because it believed in itself that it didn't have it within the strength or the power to break it. But the truth was that with just one kick, that elephant, which had grown, could easily break the rope. But it lost its self belief by then to constant environmental conditioning that said, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. It's just a matter of believing in yourself and saying that I can do this, I can do anything. So it's conditioning that plays a huge role in this. If you look
Wow.
at in the Indian, what do you call, ancient history and scriptures, for example, you've got women poets like Gargi, Maitri, who have
Correct.
written very amazing pieces of work. In fact, there is one quoted right at the end of the song, which is Asatoma Satkamaya,
Correct.
which was written by Maitri. And she was an amazing scholar, poet who used to debate with all the top men at that point in time. And then after that, there was a lull. And where did the women disappear? The educated women. Yeah, with the influx of so-called knowledge, the Brahmani, the caste system. the Brahmins coming in, the male dominated system got into place here. So that from that point in time, I guess there's this again. What's that saying? If the prey doesn't wake up, then history will be written by the hunter. So
Correct.
I mean, we need to rise above being the prey, not become the predator, but achieve that balance, which is taking your rightful place into doing what you've always been meant to do, achieving your true potential and purpose. Yeah, so there's so much more that women can do. And they are doing it today. This is actually, I would say, this is the beginning of the golden age for women.
Yeah.
And countries all across the world are waking up to this.
Yeah.
So I guess just get rid of those preconceived notions and conditioning, which a lot of people have been told since childhood. Like they've been so conditioned that some of this conditioning is done by women only. Women
Yeah.
condition
Yeah.
other women to
Absolutely.
believe that
Most of
they,
it. Most of
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's a sad part, Ashish.
yes,
Actually, honestly, that's a sad part. And being a woman, I must say that it's the saddest part. And that's very well said. So I'm going to ask you, Kanchan, your point of view on this because I have a very strong point of view on the entire aspect of gender and societal norms. So, what's your point of view? I completely agree with what Ashish says. What's your point of view on it?
I really don't have any point of view because I have been labeled a rebel since the time I was a little girl. So I never believed in any of the beliefs that were instilled. I never believed in what was told to me. However, that said, we all live in a given structured society, and even if we feel strong, even if we as women, I'm specifically talking about women here, even if we feel strong, even if we feel that strength within, it is not possible uh, to be completely strong without the support of other women, without the to be rising in your ultimate power. You need the support of your sisters, you need the support of your mothers, you need the support of all the other women and men in your lives. Because primarily, even if the men do not think that, um, they are suppressing women, or even if we do not label men or women, and we say it was the belief that has brought us up the way we have been brought up, and each one of us have gone through their own challenges. Working in the community, I see every woman is a woman of strength, and the only power they require is the power of voice and financial inclusion.
Correct.
So, if we support each other, and when we are supporting each other in the growth, equality is not far away.
Okay, nice point of view. Thank you for that, Kanchan. A really great point of view. So, when I started in the live media industry 29 years ago, I think people have to remind me that I'm a woman. And I think it's been really, this feel like, Sushma, you're a woman, you're a lady. Can we drop you home? Can we do that? Back then, of course, Mumbai was a much safer place than it still is much safer than any other city. Yet I think we spend too much time in labels, too much time talking about uh, inequality, too much time talking about victimhood. And what I loved about JaagoZara is that it has started a movement of shifting mindsets. This is my perspective, Ashish. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
absolutely.
And when I'm talking about mindsets, it is a subliminal message. Like Ashish said, it's about collaboration. We can collaborate. We can go ahead together. Today it's women with women. Tomorrow it's men with women. it's today. It actually needs to
Doesn't
move.
matter actually.
So yeah, conversation needs to move from gender equality to inclusivity. And once we do that, and that's where I can see the magic in this movement. I can see inclusivity. And when I say inclusivity, I use that word very loosely, yet it is gender inclusivity, it's age inclusivity, it's ability inclusivity. And if the music industry really understands that, we can go to any other, take it like higher. So I want to ask you, Ashish, I'm putting you in the spot now, okay? Before the movement and after the movement, JaagoZara, let's say 1 month before JaagoZara and 1 month after JaagoZara, what shift have you started seeing? That's question number one. And question number two, what shift do you actually perceive will happen in the next year or two?
Well, so according to me, JaagoZara is a spark,
Yes.
and that spark should and can become a flame, and it can become a volcano, all depending on what happens to that spark, where does it fall, and how speedily does it grow.
Correct.
So it's all a matter of spreading the light. Yeah, that's what sparks do. I mean, I'm not talking about sparks burning things, but they definitely, if lit in the correct environment, they throw light, and then that's the end of the darkness that is there. So I feel that the greatest potential is with a song, because a song is all about vibrations.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we sing, when we hum, when we speak, we create vibrations, and those vibrations create ripples in the universe. And those ripples send their own message, which is encompassed within that vibration, which could be on an audible level or a subliminal level. And that's what feeling is about. I mean, you hear things, but you feel vibrations. And sometimes you may listen to a song, not be hearing the words at all, but understand exactly what the song has to convey. And sometimes we listen to the words, or sometimes we just listen to the music. So it depends. But the message is conveyed even then. So I guess even with music, a lot of people have different messages which they receive. It's not necessary that everybody receives the same message. And JaagoZara provides us an avenue to pass on that message to the people whom it's meant for. Yeah, a seed that falls on fertile ground it flourishes and becomes a tree. But the seed that falls on barren ground or on sand, nothing happens to it. So it's necessary for the message to reach the right people who are meant to receive it at that point in time. That's the power of a song.
Wow.
Love
Wow.
your definition of music. I really love it. And
Wow.
of voice. I got lost there for a moment, huh, Ashish? I just went deep into it. I
Thank
got
you.
lost when you were talking about earlier, and I actually wrote it in our chat, so don't forget about Asotoma
Somasat
Sadgamaya.
Gamaya.
Yeah,
Tamasoma
and
Lovely.
Jyotirgamaya.
yeah, and
Mrutyoma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti
Sati
Shanti.
Sati, yeah. And that was, in one of the Matrix. I don't know, Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah.
It's one of the tracks, background
Yes.
tracks with a
Yes.
complete. You remember that? It
I
was
remember
beautiful.
that.
So yeah. So
I remember
when you talk about that, it kind of got back to the perspective of the feeling. So I want to ask you one more question and then go to Kanchan. I hope it's okay, Ashish. You're in the
that.
hot
Sure.
seat. I'm making the best
Absolutely.
use of this. Okay.
Absolutely.
What's uh, what's next, Ashish? What is up next? Now, when you do something, this I don't know about you. It happens to me, okay? When I put in so much effort and I'm crazy, and for 1 month I go crazy doing things and getting something to become reality that was earlier just as a thought and make it a reality, and then that happens, and then you start wondering and pondering about what next to do, you know, and there is this lovely space of nothingness. So I want to understand, what do you do in the space of nothingness, and after that, what are you planning now next?
Well, there's this amazing song which is on its way right now, and again, it's an international collaboration this time. It's called Krishna Bolo Hari, and this song also has written itself. Like for the first time, I've written in Hindi. I mean, an entire song. So
Well
it's
done, Aashish Rego.
thank you. So
Here we
I
go.
mean, I've come from a convent educated school, yeah, and मुझे हिंदी बोलना भी मतलब इतना नहीं आता था. So if the words have come to me and through me, there's obviously something which is bringing those words out, and hopefully very soon we will see the finished product. That song also promises to have a lot of a great message in it and a lot of power. So that is already pre-decided. It's already there. That is next on the agenda. So and what I have found is that most songs just emerge. There's no need for planning. I mean, suddenly the words will come, and then those words will just progress and go on and on and on, and before you know it, you have the entire song ready. So
So you're already ready. So you didn't have any period of nothingness or something. So I guess that's only me.
well, maybe you meant for much greater things than what you're currently doing, and
Yeah.
because
Sorry, I'm laughing.
yeah,
So no
because
issues.
when you have that purpose, there is no nothingness. I mean, nothingness will happen at your choice, not out of compulsion. And that
So
nothingness will be when you are completely one with the universe, at peace and in serenity, or in a state of meditation, which is brought about by your own choosing.
yeah, that's the nothingness I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For me, that getting off the treadmill for a bit and taking a breath is very important. And
Yes.
it just helps me channel whatever I need to do next. But yet, I agree with you. I'm not going to diss what you just said. Maybe I've got to do much more than I'm already doing. And we just had this conversation with Kanchan a little earlier. That's why both of us are giggling our hearts out. So, but tell me, Kanchan, what have you planned? Because you have supported the entire initiative. So, what has the Kanchan Foundation planned?
We have quite a lot of plans in the pipeline. I wouldn't like to talk about it right
Okay,
now. So
fair
maybe
enough.
once the plans are floated and once we there in the ground doing some concrete work to show, we'll talk about it.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Yeah, because I think it's very important. So I'm going to urge everyone who is watching. Yeah, God willing, we will be playing the track again, and hopefully, JaagoZara, you would really get to see that. God willing, again, I say. And while saying that, I also want to say, in case the track doesn't play, we will post the link in the description. Please ensure that the least we can do is ensure that as many as we possibly can enable to watch it should watch it and get inspired by it, because it is inspiring. So and also, let's not say only the women should watch. Everyone should watch it, because I think when everyone watches it, the narrative of the social fabric shifts. And that being said, should we attempt to play it, say one quick prayer and attempt to play it again? Yay, let's
Yes.
send all the positive. So, all of you who are watching, if you have questions, please do post. In the time being, we're
Sushma,
putting,
meanwhile, I have a question for you.
sure, sure. No, we're going to continue the conversation after this
Okay.
thing, baby.
All right. Fine.
ओ जरा जागो जरा जागो जरा
जागो जागो जरा जागो जरा होने दो सरगोशियां जागो जरा मिटने दो खामोशियां हम सा गया अब तो अंधेरा हो जाने दो रोशन सवेरा जागो 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 सब जागो जब जागो तब सवेरा कर दो अब दूर अंधेरी रातों को अब आई है नई एक रोशनी रोशनी दुनिया में जब जागो तब सवेरा कर दो अब दूर अंधेरी रातों को अब आई है नई एक रोशनी रोशनी दुनिया में Wake up my sweet and smell the shimmering light. Wake up my sweet, it's now the end of the night. Morning is here, it's now a new day. The time has come to find a new way. Wake up, wake up, wake up now. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up now. Let there be light, the time is right. Let all the world be one in unity. Let all survive, let all the world be one in unity. जागो जरा होने दो सरगोशियां जागो जरा मिटने दो खामोशियां हम सा गया अब तो अंधेरा हो जाने दो रोशन सवेरा Wake up and rise above the mountainside. Wake up and leap over the sand. Wake up and take your place on history. Wake up to your own destiny. JaagoZara. Yay! The
Wow.
power of intention. Awesome. It was
Yes.
lovely, 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 and
Wow.
what a medley! What a melody, lyrics, and I was watching it intently, and it was amazing to see. Ashish, that is a lot of work. That
Yeah.
is a lot of work. Logistically crazy work, amount of work. I'm sure the team has done a splendid job. Yeah, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
So
It.
how many team members did you have?
Well, the core team were four of us, and then we had maybe a few more assisting us on that. So you can say, I think totally it's around 7 to 8 people. That's it, max.
Wow, working round the clock because it's across time zones, like I saw.
Yes, yes. We were
Oh,
working at
lovely.
crazy, crazy hours and things like that. And to put this together in 30 days was, I mean, a challenging task in itself. And we achieved it. It's just
Amazing.
that we had a goal and we completed it in time. That's what.
Wow. Wow. Yes, sir. Kanchan, you had a question.
Yes, Sushma. Before we close, I would like to ask you. You
Me?
are, yes, I would like to ask you a question. You are somebody who a lot of us look up to. You somebody who's there as a celebrated woman. And what would you say about celebrating the goddess within for all womanhood? And for the men as well, because most of the men, they do not accept their feminine side, the nurturer side, the kindness, the compassion, the expression of love. So what would you say about that?
Okay, so Kanchan, this is a little scary question you've asked me because sometimes when I speak about this, I get a little crazy about it. Anyway, let me tell you what I really think. There's Shiva and there's Shakti. Yeah. Even in basic, I practice chakra meditation. Chakra therapy as well. This is one thing, basic aspect of chakras is that there is Shakti right at the base of your spine, and there is Shiva who is here. And through meditation, we awaken the Kundalini. And the Kundalini Shakti, the energy that is Kundalini, the only purpose of Kundalini is to rise and meet Shiva. And it's when Shiva meets Shakti that your life purpose is met. So, my perspective is very simple. There is Shiva and there's Shakti in each and every human being. And it's all about recognizing it. It's all about acknowledging it, and it's all about getting that to the forefront. Now, there are many women, including me. I spent most of my life ignoring my feminine side, and let me tell you, after whatever I've been through, and I'm not getting into the story, I always thought I needed to be this tomboy. And people have to say, hey, listen, so you're a girl. And like I told you, I was like, shocked me, really? मैं लड़की हूँ, to a point that in the event industry, my name is Sushma Bhai. Can you believe that? I'm called Sushma Bhai by all the biggest
I
event
can't believe
agency
it.
heads. Yeah, that's what they call me, Sushma Bhai. It's a well-known fact. You can ask anyone in events. Yeah. But that being said, it was like lockdown 2 years ago that I realized that I was actually divorcing my female side, my feminine energy. And I thought the very fact that I kept portraying the male energy is because at some point, at some level, at some other level, I must have subliminally accepted that the female energy is weak or cannot be enhanced or will make me get targeted. I don't know what. I'm not getting into it. The bottom line is that in these past 2 years, I understood that it requires a balance. And the same with the gentlemen in our lives, and the same with our relationships. So if you have a husband or a boyfriend or a lover, it's very important to recognize that both the energies lay within that same person. Yeah. So it's a little rad thinking, I know. It has taken me 51 years of my life to realize that I'm both. I'm both Shakti and I am Shiva, both. So I really, and I really like about the feminine, I love that feminine rising because that's what rises actually to meet Shiva.
Thank
Can I
you
can
for
I say
that.
something? Can I say
Yes,
something?
Yes,
please,
yes,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So the same thing applies to the male point of view in this.
yes,
Like
yes,
men are so afraid of being in touch with their feminine side,
yes.
and they're afraid of being teased. Like I mean, when I was in school, I used to be this real chubby chikna boy, and I was in a boys' school. So for the school plays, they used to always force me to play the role of the girls and wear skirts and put lipstick and makeup and things like that.
Wow.
So I mean, I used to take on the roles, but after that, my classmates used to tease me. So then I felt that I need to compensate and bring out my masculine side more. Where actually it was not a compensation, but it was a imbalance which is again being created at that point in time from a external conditioning force that was telling me that I need to be more male because people are teasing me about playing the role of a female. But I guess at that point in time itself, early on in school, that when I wore the clothes of females in the plays, and I played the roles, and I had a very high soprano voice when I was singing.
Oh.
So that itself was one natural thing that okay, if there's a girl's role, this guy's got to be there in that. So that probably allowed me more to be in touch with my feminine side. And then throughout my teenage and college and stuff like that, I was attempting to be more masculine. I shaved early. I'm not getting any facial hair. So then I need to have a beard. All my friends have like mustaches and beards and all of things like that. So I think Jabardasti shaved myself. So it's social conditioning and social expectation for males, which say that you need to be more macho. Yeah, you need to have the deeper voice you have, or the more studgiri you do. That you're more of a man at that point in time. But
Correct.
I think it's exactly the opposite. I mean, when you're more compassionate and passionate and empathetic at the same time, that's probably when you're actually in touch with every aspect of your being.
Correct.
And the same goes for women. I mean, it's when you're in a man's world and you've got men working under you, you feel the need to be tough, which is
Very
more,
tough.
yeah, which is more of a man's, supposedly a man's quality. So what the Shiva and the Shakti embody between them, yeah. But Shiva himself was actually a very what do you call? They call him Bholenath. I mean, what's Bholenath all about? It's about being innocent.
Simple. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
innocent.
what, and so sweet and so trusting. Yeah. So yeah, I suppose that that's something that we all need to probably understand and learn about our roles.
Correct. I completely agree with you,
Absolutely.
Ashish. In
Absolutely.
fact, Kanchan and Ashish, I want to share this with you. Half of the reason that this entire, Sushma Bhai turned up in the universe is because of a lot of experiences that we go through. Like I went through a lot of sexual abuse when I was when I was really young, really a child. And when you go through that, there is this wall that you've built, right? Because you don't want to be touched. And it's more of a defense mechanism that, if I'm this particular way, people be repelled. Because anyway, guys don't, I didn't want to hang around somebody who was a
Not
Bhai or
everybody can handle a strong woman.
not woman. You start impersonating a male because it's not so. I mean, today I understand that. I didn't when I was 18 and 19, right? You're getting it. So I think a lot of it is, like you're saying, societal conditioning, like also your personal experiences, and are buying into labels. I think when we buy into those labels and we ensure we tell our next generation that listen, there are no labels exist. You can paint and you can cook. Like I can't cook to save my life, but my son Joshua is a brilliant cook and he's not even, he's barely 14. I think if we start doing that for the next generation, for our children, we shift the narrative automatically.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know. So, Kanchan, before we close, and before I go back to Ashish and get him back on the like the hot chair or whatever we call it, the burning chair at this point of time, Kanchan, any what would you like to say in closing to all those who are watching?
Each one, men or woman, celebrating the god goddess within, JaagoZara is to me all about finding your voice, awakening to yourself, looking within and understanding what is it that your life means to you, not to your parents, not to your siblings, not to your friends. What is it that you mean to yourself? That is the awakening all about. And once we know what we mean to ourselves or what our life means to us, I think finding our voice and voicing it is not far away.
Excellent. Very well
Absolutely.
said. Very well said, Kanchan. Very well said. And Ashish, your closing statements, please. What would you like to share with our viewers? How can our viewers support you? Most important in getting the message out.
Well, JaagoZara has a very strong message, and it's not just a single message, it has multiple messages within itself. And it's all about understanding and realizing the message that is meant for you. Which spark, which candle you are carrying that is going to light up the rest of the world. What is your purpose among all those things out there that is meant to light up the lives of other people, to add value to the lives of millions out there? How can you play your role in the scheme of things? And JaagoZara is just a small spark that sparks off the awakening. And if it even touches the life of a few people who can do that, and they can just carry on that spark and light up the world, then the song has achieved what it's meant to be. The song has reached its own destiny.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ashish. I think that was very well said.
My pleasure.
Each of us can be the torch bearers. Each of us
Yes.
can be the torch bearers, walking ahead and illuminating the path for those who follow. And that is the biggest message I have got from JaagoZara, and I wanted to share that with you, Ashish.
Thank you.
That it's no longer should we be playing the small game, gully cricket. It's time to actually go. Literally, I'm telling you, that's the one thing that sprung out. I mean, we've been too busy playing gully cricket. There is a place in the sun for each and every one of us, and I think it's time for us to take it. And with that being said, a big thank you, Ashish, for actually taking the initiative to shift the narrative, taking the initiative to get these wonderful stalwarts together in one song, in one video, in one movement, which we call JaagoZara. Thank you, and thank you for joining us tonight, and for the pleasure of me having to host this. So thanks so much, Ashish, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'd just like to thank the wonderful people who made the song possible. There was Casey Loy who directed the video with me, Justin Yesudas and Uday Manjur
Amazing work you've
and
done. Huh?
Somesh Mathur, who, I mean, are responsible for getting so many people together. I mean, along with me, it was pure teamwork, pure collaboration of that kind. Then Kiran Loy, who actually did the production design and a lot of other designs on the video. So it was just, I mean, selfless collaboration between anyone with just a singular goal in mind. So thank you so much, guys, for believing in the vision, believing in the thought, believing in the idea that its time has come.
And thank you, team, on our behalf as well. It was phenomenal, phenomenal. And everyone watching, please share the video. Most important, please share the song and become a part of the narrative. And before we close, I would say thank you, Kanchan, for
Thank
everything that you
you.
do, for being the vivacious, wonderful, loving, gentlest souls I know on this planet that walks this
Thank
planet,
you.
and for giving me the reins of Chai Shai. Yeah, I hope I did it justice. Thank you, Kanchan, and
Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you, Sushma.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
guys.
much.
thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
And to each one out there listening, Jago Zara.
Jago, sir.
Jago Zara.
JaagoZara.
Jago Zara. Thank you. Good night. Shama care, each one. Bye bye, Sushma and Ashish. Thank you so much. Love you both
Bye
a
bye.
lot.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Love you
Bye
both.
bye.
Bye bye.